Okay, the big picture. And I feel like I need to start with a couple of housekeeping items. So, first up, right, I'm probably gonna make this sound like it's, I don't know, gonna solve world peace and global warming. But obviously, it's not. I mean, it is gonna solve a bunch of stuff for you, just not everything. The thing is, right, I've done a few of these courses now, and I don't know, I've got a bit of a tendency to get overexcited about things. But stick with me, because at the end we'll do a reality check. Second up, and I'm sure most of you know this already, but for those who don't, there is an elephant in the room. Serverless uses servers. I know, but don't let that bother you, right? I mean, none of us care that wireless networks have wires, right? We just get on with it and enjoy the benefits. So I suggest you do the same with serverless, right? Yeah, serverless runs on servers somewhere behind the scenes, but like the wires in a wireless network, they are so far behind the scenes, you are never going to see them. So that's the housekeeping. The next thing I want to do is give a bit of a big picture of what serverless is. And I'm going to say this. At its core, serverless or functions as a service, serverless functions, call it whatever you want, right? At its core, it is event-driven computing. And it's got a laser focus on writing small pieces of code and delivering innovation. Now, in the public cloud, yeah, you're probably going to get a bunch of other benefits as well, like micro-billing. But these are the benefits or the outcomes of serverless, right? Or its fruits, if you will. You see, micro-billing itself is not core to serverless. At its core, it is event-driven computing with that laser focus on writing small business-focused functions. Anyway, right, you write code, that's the function part, yeah? It can be Python, Node, whatever. Then you upload that to the serverless platform, and when it's needed, it runs. Now, that is proper high level, I know that. But do you know what? High level like that, where you don't care about all the infrastructure details, that is where the world is headed. I mean, you as a developer, or maybe you manage a bunch of developers, I don't know, but all you care about is writing code and delivering value. In fact, I'd put good money on the fact that you do not care what server models or patching or even the ins and outs of how stuff scales. All you want to do is write code and run it. Well, that's what serverless does. You write your code and everything else is like, poof, magic. Who cares, right? It just happens. So you write your code, upload it to the platform, and when it's needed, it runs. Now we'll give some examples later, right? But right now, that's how it is. However, what do I actually mean by event-driven? Well, you've got your code on the platform, right? And it's associated with a trigger or an event, so that when that event occurs, your code gets triggered. And I don't know, maybe it could be an HTTP request hitting a designated endpoint, or maybe it's an object that gets written to a blob store. Whatever that event is, it invokes your function. The function runs, does what it does, returns something, and it shuts down. And because there's no VM to boot or container to start, it is like the wind. I mean, we're talking sub-second start to finish times here. And on most of the public cloud platforms, that's all you're going to be billed for, a fraction of a second. Also though, I think we've already suggested that each function should be small and single purpose. Which is great, right? Because it fits the kind of microservices pattern where each function does one thing and one thing only. Writing code gets easier, testing code gets easier, so does unpicking it, troubleshooting it, understanding what it does. It's all good stuff. Magic. But I'm starting to waffle, right? Small pieces of code triggered when an event occurs. Love it. But where did it all start? Yeah, okay, I've no doubt, like everything else in the world, it probably existed before the dinosaurs on the mainframe. Fine, okay? But in the same way that Docker started modern containers, Amazon Web Services started modern serverless when it unleashed Lambda functions in 2014. So there it is. All of this started with AWS Lambda, and not long ago either, so it's pretty bleeding edge, yeah? But why? I mean, why did Amazon invent this? Well, the brutal reality is, if they didn't, somebody else would. Because there is no stopping evolution. The next thing's always just around the corner. And you know what? As usual, the forces driving this evolution are the usual suspects. So there's obviously efficiency. We all want greater efficiency, yeah? But then there's agility, speed to market, productivity, all of that jazz, right? Oh, and obviously cost. It's always about the money. But that's it, right? That's the why. This serverless stuff is just more efficient, it's faster, it's cheaper, it's all the goodness that an enterprise needs. So we've kind of got the how and the where and the why, but what about the who? Like, who are the players and who's it all for? Well, on the players front, there's your AWS Lambda, your Azure functions, OpenFaaS, IBM Cloud Functions. There's just loads, right? And a bunch that don't even exist yet. This is a thriving landscape, right? So there's no shortage of players. But what about the who is it for? Now, look, without sounding like I'm on commission here, the answer is probably everybody. Though it's not a silver bullet, right? I am not saying it's going to replace everything and solve all of your problems. But I am saying it's going to solve some. And I'm also saying the majority of businesses out there can benefit. I mean, who doesn't want to be more agile or focus more on solutions and innovations? Exactly. Now, to play the game that we played with containers, right, where we'd hold up Google as this real company making real money and doing it with containers, well, legend has it that Google chews through billions of containers a week or a month or whatever it is, right? It's a lot. Okay, well, there's serious companies out there using functions every day. As an example, right, Expedia's one that, if the legend is right, okay, goes through billions of functions a week. So this is a thing, right? If it's not in your backyard already, it will be soon. And looking at my notes, that's the who, the what, the where and the why, and all from about 30,000 feet, yeah? Well, let's go and drill in a bit.